Hello, welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to this channel right here, right now, to find videos about dating, relationships, life, vlogs, and of course this lovely live chat show. So it's all here on Asexualise, my asexual life, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a single episode. I got a really important episode for you today. It's been a while since I've gone live. I know that. I do apologize for that. I've had a bit of an emotional upset, which I'm going to tell you about, to do with Facebook dating. But yes, you're going to really want to pay attention to this. If you didn't know who I am Sandra Bell, author of Awesome Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories book. And obviously this is about love, life and sex from an asexual point of view. If that tickles your fancy, if that really like that, then go and grab your copy at Amazon. Amazon.com or .co.uk or whatever Amazon you're near. So tickle your fancy is kind of like a bit of a sexual saying, isn't it, sometimes? So we are in fact talking about dating heterosexuals when you're sex repulsed asexual today, which of course is kind of weird. So I never thought I'd be dating heterosexual guys ever again in my life. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I kind of thought about it going through my mind, but I never actually thought I'd do it. And here I am back on Facebook dating heterosexual guys when I'm a sex repulsed asexual. So obviously, the experiences are kind of crazy. Yeah, so what's been going on? So as you might have known, on Sunday, I went to London. It's not usually that I do something spontaneous, but I decided to because I wanted to watch the Doctor Strange movie and I wanted to see it in 3D, and it's not showing in 3D on my cinemas in my city, and the nearest city to my city, which had it in 3D, I couldn't get there in time to have for the morning performance or the evening performance. And so yeah, so I just was like, okay, where else can I go? And then I thought about another city, but it's not so good as London. London I absolutely adore. I hadn't been to London for ages. So I'm thinking just grab the bull by the horns as well. Let's go to London, because I'm kind of all about having experiences in life as well, not just about being behind a computer screen. I think I like to push through my fears and boundaries. I like to go and do things that are beyond my comfort zone sometimes on purpose to stretch myself, grow myself. And I don't want to live in fear. I have anxiety, but sometimes the way you actually crush anxiety more is by doing things you're more fearful of, in order to push through those fears, if you like. And so basically I had this date on Sunday in the afternoon before I went to the cinema performance, and it was with a guy I met on Facebook dating. I did have a really good time with him. I was surprised how much I liked physically touching a heterosexual guy, how safe I felt around him, how comfortable I felt around him. I didn't do any mouth kissing, no lip kissing, no tongue kissing, anything like that. I allowed him to kiss me on the forehead. I gave him a little kiss on the neck, just a little peck. And I did cuddle his arm and yeah, cuddled into him when we're eating the restaurant together. I did stroke him under his arm, and that was really weird because it did make me feel a bit aroused. And I'm like, what's going on with that? I don't usually get arousal from stroking that part of a guy's body. It's very bizarre, and I don't usually experience that much arousal around guys these days, especially when I'm not kissing them. So that was really weird for me. It did freak me out a bit, as I just went to the guy. I'm a bit excited and I thought I better stop that. But I did have a really nice time. It was really nice to talk to someone, nice to hold a guy's hand. I was really aesthetically attracted to him, even though he's an older guy. And, it was just really nice, pleasant day. Everything went really well. However, since then, I found out that he's not totally the guy I thought he was, that his age is different, his actual kind of backstory is different, and so in the end he ended up deceiving and lying to me about some of the stuff that he actually was and what happened in his life. And he's not got permanent residency in the UK, so it's no good. I can't be with someone who lies or deceives me in any way. I wanted to hear him out though as to why he did, what his story was. I gave him an opportunity to talk to me on video chat about that. He told me a lot in private message, which I'm not going to go into because it's his private business. But it still knows no good, because even after that he was lying about things, and contradicting himself, and just trying to cover things up more and more, and then even trying to change words that I'd said. And so that's not a good guy for me. So in the end, I decided, it's no good. And I've now blocked him from my life. But he said, if you're going to go from my life, block me. And so I have, so it's kind of like mutual, agreed for him to be blocked. So that's fine. Wish him all the best. I hope he finds a really good person for him, who can love him and who can care for him. I can't abide by liars or deceivers, and that's why I'm no longer in contact with him. But I am, honestly, I did really enjoy the date with him on Sunday. I did have a really, really nice time. And I want to honor that. Sometimes in life we have people come into our life who are only meant to be here briefly in it. And sometimes we just have to give sunshine, love and caringness to the person in front of us in that moment. And it can be really difficult to do that if you have attachment. I did get a bit attached to the guy. I did have a little bit of an emotional connection with him. He seems that he went through a lot in his life, but that's no reason to continually lie and deceive, and so that was the end of that, but I do wish him the best. I did have a fantastic date with him on Sunday. When I was actually with him, I did feel really safe, cared for, taken care of, and it's a shame that he did lie to me and deceive me, and it's a shame that he told me stuff and then he continued to lie more and more. But I had to be sure that he definitely was the wrong guy for me. So I did give him the opportunity to hear him out, because, I didn't want to just make a rash decision, because sometimes in the past I've made a decision just like that, and sometimes I have to do that. But I wanted to hear him out. Now I know I've made the right decision to move on from him. So it's got a bit weird as well, because being on Facebook dating, I'm a hyper romantic, and I ended up like a couple of days ago having feelings for 3 different guys, all from Facebook dating. And that got really a lot for me, very emotional, because I do get emotionally attached quite easily. As a hyper romantic, I can have multiple feelings for different guys at once. I don't want to be like that, but it's the way I can be, the way it was for me. And so I had this deep emotional connection with one guy I met on there, which was like a soulmate connection. But he is going back to India, and he wants marriage and to live together, and I don't. So that is out, but it's a shame, because I have a genuine soulmate connection with him, which is very rare to find. I really trust him as well. And, we got on so well, but he'd rather go back to India than actually be in a relationship with me. So clearly he can't be my actual ultimate soulmate guy, because the guy who's my soulmate wouldn't leave me like that, and he would definitely want to stay with me. So he's out of the picture now, pretty much. I'm still Facebook friends with him, but it gets a bit much when we message, because I get very emotional, because it just feels like I'm meant to be with that guy, because of the emotional connection I have with him, but and soulmate connection. But he's adamant, basically, he's going back to country. So I've given up even trying to convince him of otherwise now, and trying to cut messaging him so much, because it's just too much, because I need to move on to a different guy who can give me what I want. And so that's one of the guys. And then the guy I had the date with on Sunday, I did have some emotional connection to him. I did have some aesthetic attraction for him and some romantic attraction. I did like him a lot. But he wasn't any good for me, and then lies and deceives, and I can't have that. And I made sure that I gave him a chance, an opportunity to tell me his side of the story, like why he lied and deceived me. But it just got worse and worse and worse. So, but I had a beautiful date. And sometimes, in life, you've just got to have experiences, and you've got to understand that they might be isolated experiences. It might just be something you do in that moment with that person, because it's difficult dating, because I'm not so into dating myself, but this is what the dating was like. You spend some time with one person, it might not work out, then you move on to another person. It's not really what I'm used to doing, but I've got to get out of my comfort zone and try different things, because if something in your life is not working, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you get the same results. It's better to do different things. With Facebook dating, I'm getting so many results this time. I think I've got like 8 guys in my inbox at the moment. A lot of the time I'm just chatting to them as friends, because the friendship button is there now. So most of them are requesting friendship with me and actually trying to get to know me as a person, which I really, really value and appreciate. So some of them are asking me about asexuality, so what makes you asexual? It's like, well, I know nothing made me asexual. I'm not forcing myself to be asexual. I'm naturally asexual. I was born that way, you know. And they're like, oh, well, what does it mean to you? And I'm like, asexuality means I lack sexual attraction. I don't get the need, urge, want for partner sexual intercourse. But sometimes they just don't understand that, you know. They don't really get it in their heads. It takes them a while. They still kind of convinced there's some ulterior motive for why I don't want sex, but there genuinely isn't. And then I've met a third guy, who I'm actually talking to in terms of interest in a relationship dating scenario, who I do have some things for. It's really, with him, it's mostly aesthetic attraction. I haven't really got an emotional connection that much with him at the moment. I like him. He's 21, Indian guy, and he is in the UK, and he's invited me out for a date. I've had a voice call with him so far. I've just had a video date with him today, and he's coming to see me. But I said I would only meet him in a public place on Friday this week for an in-person date, and he's made it perfectly clear that he does want to kiss me. He's a 21-year-old Indian guy, so obviously I'm very cautious because he's heterosexual. I'd say he's highly heterosexual as well, so that it makes me really weary. But he knows that sex is off the table, that if we meet, I'll just be kissing him. But he's kind of very much geared towards kissing, towards physical connection rather than emotional connection, whereas I'm geared towards emotional connection first and foremost. So I wasn't sure if it's right to meet up with him on Friday or not. And I was thinking yes, and I was thinking no, but I've decided I will meet up with him, because it's likely to be only for a few hours anyway. And if I get, you know, it's my dream to have a date with an Indian guy in the UK. And you know, that's been a dream. It's kind of on my bucket list to do. So I think the worst case scenario that could happen is that, as long as I don't pick anything up with him kissing wise, is that, as long as it's a public place, a worst case scenario that could possibly happen is that I never see him again after we meet up on Friday. That's kind of the worst case scenario. And so, I'm okay with that because, it is on my bucket list to be with a younger Indian guy and actually have an official date. So now, yes, I've got an official date with a younger Indian guy in the UK, and he has UK permanent residency because his family are in the UK. He was born in the UK. So it's not like a guy's going to leave me and go back to his own country. This guy can actually be here having a relationship with me, possibly. But I'm not holding out for a relationship with him because, to be honest, a lot of the conversation with him, a lot of it's geared more around kissing for him and physical contact than it is emotional connection. Unless I have an emotional connection, intelligence connection long term, it isn't going to work for me. So I'm going to see how it goes with him. Like I said, I kept chopping and changing my mind. I did feel a little bit of pressure at one point, which he knows about, but he did say, and I do agree with him on this, that you can usually, he can personally tell if he's meant to be more than just, if, for example, there's a possibility of getting into a relationship with someone, you can tell just by kissing them. I feel the same way he does on that. So I know just by kissing a guy, if I'm meant to be only his friend, or if there's potential for me to be in a relationship with him. And so this is like kind of like how you'd have to kiss the person first. And so he's like studying at the moment, and he's going to be busy with exams for a month, but he's like, I can see you this Friday and I'd really like to kiss you to find out. Where he's up front, at least he's up front and honest to find out if it's possible that we were meant to be together more than friends, I'm guessing. But for him, it is very, very physical. So I don't know long term if it would work out. At the moment, I don't project it would work out permanently forever with the way that it's gone so far, because it's very physical driven for him. But it's not to say it won't. He seems like to really like me, but it's very physical, like I said, for him. And I can't have a relationship based on just physicality. So I have to see how it goes with him. But yes, kissing a 21-year-old Indian guy who's British born will be absolutely amazing. And it will be a dream come true for me. So what I'm thinking on Friday is I have my dream come true. I have a wonderful date with him. And if I don't see him again, it's okay. I won't be disappointed. I'll just kind of know that that's what's probably most likely going to happen anyway. I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. I hope that he continues to message me, continues to see me, continues to get on with me. We do develop emotional bond and we can be together in a relationship. That would be like a kind of my ideal scenario. But if it doesn't happen, if I only get a date with him on Friday and that's it, and it just ends in kissing, and that's all that happens, I'm okay with that too. Because, you know, I've learned through dating, you know, you have to be prepared to let someone go, especially when you're dating, because, you know, you might have to go through quite a lot of guys and dating scenarios in order to find the right guy. And don't forget, I am asexual, so I'm dating heterosexuals. It's a very big deal. It's quite scary for me, you know, especially because this guy who I'm seeing on Friday, he was talking about sexual stuff in the beginning, but you said he was talking about it to establish where my boundaries are, which is good because you do need that as well. But it's kind of trying to get a balance between what I feel comfortable talking about and the fact I do need to talk about everything to establish boundaries. Because if I do kiss him, he needs to know what he can and can't do in that scenario, even with kissing scenario, you know. And so, you know, he was asking me quite a lot of personal questions, which did feel very uncomfortable, some of them the other day, a few days ago. And he said he didn't mean to make me feel uncomfortable. He just needs to establish boundaries of what I like and what I don't like, so he knows what he can and can't do, which is fair enough. It's just very difficult because obviously some guys, that's all they're after, you know. And this guy might just be after kissing, and that's it. Because I said to him, I'm not interested in a kissing hookup. I don't do them. But you know, he's very physically driven and kissing driven. But I do love kissing as well, don't get me wrong. I do want to kiss him. I mean, he's really beautiful looking. he's Indian. He's really good looking. So it's like, he said to me, I don't see the problem. Like, you want to kiss me, I want to kiss you. What's the problem? I'm trying to like come up with a problem. It's like, but it's a bit soon, you know, because I don't know you that well. But maybe that's the best time to kiss when I don't know the person that well. Like, in general, it's not recommended because you can get more emotionally attached to a person through kissing and being physical. So usually you wouldn't do that. But you know, I have been able to kiss guys in clubs and still not get emotionally attached to them. And at the moment, I don't have that much emotional connection with this guy, so it's a safer type of place I'm coming from to kiss him. But obviously I have a little bit, maybe tiny bit of an emotional connection with him. And he's really mature for his age. Like, when I talk to him, it's not like talking to a 21-year-old. It's like talking to someone I don't know in their 30s or something. So there is that, which I think is really good. You know, and he approached me, and he's been very, very like kind of forward, like confident with what he wants from me and stuff. So, you know, there's kind of a lot of good stuff there as well. I'm so glad that he approached me because, you know, like it's very different having a 21-year-old Indian guy approach me than it is me approaching him. You know, he did that with me. So thanks for the thumbs up. Lots of love. But I am really looking forward to seeing him on Friday. I have denied. I have like said no. I said yes, then no, then yes. But I just like, I think it'll be good for me because I've told you on this channel before, one of my dreams is to actually have an official date with an Indian guy, and I haven't had one yet. So this Friday I'm going to actually have one, like an in-person date I'm talking about. I've had video dates before, but not an in-person date. So I am really looking forward to it on Friday. I am quite excited. I was feeling pressure before, but now I've talked to him on video camera, I'm feeling less pressure, which is good. And kind of like, I do love kissing. I mean, it's no secret, is it? I do love kissing. So on Friday, I'm going to basically get to kiss a 21-year-old Indian guy. It's going to be a dream. I'm going to be like, oh my God, it's so exciting. I didn't show him all my excitement though. I think he thought, he said, oh, I seem more keen on doing that than you. Like, but you do, I get the impression you do really want to kiss me. I'm like, yeah, I do really want to kiss you. And I'm there being really casual. And I'm thinking it's because I'm scared, to be honest. And also, really, it's not advisable to start a relationship off physically because usually it doesn't work. Usually there's no long-term relationship, and I'm looking for a long-term relationship. But then the opportunities have risen, and what is the worst case scenario that can happen? Like I said, because I won't do it. He wanted to kiss in private, and I'm like, no, not in the beginning. I don't do that type of thing, you know. It's public only because, you know, I will not go around kissing a guy in private who I do not know. That's just to me like a hookup thing. And so, you know, and to him it might be like a kissing hookup more, which I don't do. I've made clear, but I told him I want to get to know him as a person, his personality, spend some time with him. But yes, I am really looking forward to it. If I just think about like, you're going to be kissing a 21-year-old Indian guy on Friday Central, I'm just like, oh my God, it's going to be like a dream come true for me. A real dream country, because like 21 to 23 years is my ideal age group, you know. Like, I really love younger guys. I mean, the older guy that I dated at the weekend on Sunday, he was great in the sense, like, it was nice to experience a date with an older guy, but like I said, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't who I thought he was anyway. But in the sense, I did have a really nice time with the guy who was older. I was asexually attracted to him, but, you know, like 21 to 23-year-olds, they're my ideal aesthetically romantic attraction type. Like my attraction for them is off the Richter scale. And so, you know, and he's got beautiful coloured skin. He does talk British though, because he's British born, so he's got no Indian accent whatsoever, which I am not used to. I'm like, can't you just have a little bit of an Indian accent? But he hasn't got any Indian accent whatsoever. He talks really British. He's got a really posh British voice. I think that's what I'm not used to as well, because this guy's got a like really posh, formal British voice. And I feel like he's talking to me really formally all the time. It's like I talk slang and kind of like a girl, and he talks more really formally, more like a textbook or something. So it'll be very interesting. But yes, I am looking forward to it. I should have changed this video to I've got an official date with an Indian guy on Friday, but maybe I'll do another video that talks about that, because I'll probably get even more excited nearer the time. So I probably will talk about that. But I am really happy. Like, I didn't show it to him, but I'm so happy. I really do want to kiss this guy. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. But yes, I was really, really nervous about it. But now I'm just like, Sandra, this is like your dream. You've got invited to have your dream. Yes, it's with a heterosexual Indian guy, but who cares? Like, it's not ideal, is it? I really prefer to be with an asexual Indian guy, but most asexual Indian guys are not that into kissing. So I'm really looking forward to like doing that. But all these guys I'm talking about, they've all been on Facebook dating, and like in the past I've had really kind of like you know, like not much happening with Facebook dating. It's been like off the app, but this time I feel like I'm going to be on it quite a while, because I'm just getting so many guys interested in me. The friendship button, I'm getting so many guys talking to me through that. I'm having like one guy, he's a sports coach on there, and he's doing business management studies and stuff, and so he's really intelligent to talk to, you know. And so I'm really kind of enjoying conversing with different Indian guys. I specifically put this time in Facebook dating, I want an Indian guy. I've made that really clear. So now I'm getting loads more Indian guys in my Facebook dating inbox, and I put my filters up to 32 age group, which is old for me. You know, I go, like I said, I go for guys in the early to mid 20s usually, but I expanded it because I wanted to see a variety of guys and see if any older guys got something more to offer me in terms of a relationship than a younger guy. But I still like, you know, I'm really attracted to younger guys. I mean, like, it's like, it was really weird, because when I was with the older guy at the weekend, there was a younger guy I had to ask for help with the tubes, because part of the tube station was cut off. And so I asked him like to help, but he would usually be the type of younger guy I'm aesthetically attracted to, and him attracted to me. And I was with the older guy while I was talking to the younger guy, and I was thinking, but this is the type of guy I'm usually attracted to, you know, the younger guy. So it's kind of like weird to have the contrast like right next to me. The guy who I dated on Sunday, who didn't tell me the full truth about himself, and you know, he was actually more than 32. He was like 34 and a bit, nearly 30, you know, some months. So, you know, he was a bit older. But you know, like I said, on Sunday I still like to date them. So what I'm thinking about with Facebook dating is more likely to treat it like, you know, dating, and that you're enjoying the moment with that person. If it works out afterwards, it does. If it doesn't, it's okay. It's no big deal. But obviously, there, you know, when you get emotional attachment or any emotional connection, that's when it can hurt and be very, very painful. Like, I was really upset over the older guy that I met. You are a beautiful catch, Sandra. Oh, thank you, special Liam. Lots of love. I really appreciate you. Yeah. So you know, that the older guy, you know, I was upset of. I was crying, like, that I had to kind of like. Well, I was crying two ways. One is because I don't deserve to be lied to or deceived. That was really bad of him to do that to me, and the fact he can't see that he's a bad person for doing that is even worse. I mean, I don't understand why there's so many guys in the world that you know, they do things that aren't good, and then they think that there's no problem with themselves and everyone else is the problem and not them. I really don't get that. But those guys got very victim mentality, as in, you know, like, the whole world's against me, everything's bad in my life, why can't everything go right? And it's like, well, if you treat people a bit better, you know, then things would go more right for you, you know. But I do know he's had a hard life, and I do wish him lots of love and luck, you know. I was happy to be with the older guy, to give him the love and care he needed in that moment, and to have a fantastic date with him. And I won't say it wasn't, it was really good, you know. And so yeah, and he wasn't he wasn't bad to me in that time. Just afterwards, I found out it wasn't who he said he was completely, you know. Which happens, you know, it is dating, it's online dating, you know, but because I make it in a public place, it's fine, you know, but I will not meet people in private and stuff. Like this guy I'm meeting on Friday, I said to him, it's public only, not private, you know. He's like, oh, but I'm not used to kissing in public. I'm like, well, that's it. I'm doing public kissing. I'll do public kissing with you or no kissing at all, you know, basically. So take it or leave it, you know what I mean? So yeah. And even then, obviously, it's kind of like I don't even know the guy. I'm going to be kissing a guy I don't know, but luckily for me, I can kind of do that because I'm used to that in clubs. But I mean, I do know him for a few dates through video chatting once today and an audio call, but it's still not what most people would be able to do. But I told him I'm not making any promises anyway. But, you know, like, obviously, clearly he's attracted to me asexually. I'm attracted to him asexually. But obviously, with heterosexual guys, they're attracted to me sexually. You know what I mean? It's kind of a bit different, you know? So I'm there when I'm like, if I'm getting wanting, like, personally for me, I prefer to have an emotional connection with someone before I kiss them. But usually for sexual guys, heterosexual guys, for example, they get more of an emotional connection through physicality, but guys in general are more physical anyway. Women, if you're talking about stereotypical genders, women tend to develop emotional connection with the guy first and foremost, and the guy tends to develop physical connection with the woman first and foremost. So you've got these two completely different opposites of attractions going on, and it's only if they meet in the middle consistently and persistently that usually kind of works out. So I'm not holding my breath, like I said with the guy on Friday. I've just got to think, right, you're going to meet him, you're probably going to both kiss a lot by the sound of it, and that might be all you do, and you might go your separate ways. You might never hear from him again or see him again, and you have to know that that's what it might be, Sandy, because, you know, my mind is telling me that's what he wants, and maybe he just wants a kissing experience. So I get a lot of guys being like that with me, and usually I say no. And I've said that's not what I want. I'm looking for an actual relationship. But at the end of the day, I have said that one of the experiences I want in my life is to actually have an official date with an Indian guy. So it will be making my dream come true in that way. And he is a really good looking guy. I mean, he is like, you know, he's my type, basically. I mean, his age as well, you know, because I love younger guys. You know, when I see younger guys, I hate it when people put younger guys down as well. It really annoys me when I see so many people going, oh, why do you like guys in their 20s? You know, they're just trouble, or you'll never have a serious relationship with a younger guy, or, you know, like if you've got problems, and of course you're going to have problems. The guy that I've just seen at the weekend, who was like, told me he's 32, but really he's 34 in some months, so more like towards 35. You know, he deceived and lied to me. He's an older guy. He should know better than that, right? But clearly he doesn't. It's got nothing to do with age. It's all to do with the person, right? The guy who I'm seeing on Friday actually talks really maturely for his age. He's really, like, the way he speaks, it's not like a 21-year-old would usually talk. It's just not. It's kind of weird. It's like seeing an older guy in a younger body. It's very bizarre. So I always take people as I find them on value about what they say, their behavior, how they act. You know, and I've got to make sure that I've got these expectations, right? That on Friday, I might not see that guy ever again after Friday. So I've got to understand that if I kiss him, I am to keep some amount of detachment. But I think it's going to be easier with him because I do have less attachment to him already. I'm not so emotionally connected to him, so I'm not as bothered. But when you kiss, and you're being physically intimate, it does boost the oxytocin levels, and it makes you more attached usually to a person. But like I said, because of the way I am, and I can kiss guys in clubs and then detach from them and go home, I'm a bit better at that than the most. So, and I don't know if I'll be spending the rest of my life with this guy. I mean, it might be a bit far-fetched. I don't know, because, like, he's not so certain. Well, he's like, he doesn't seem to be bothered one way or other what happens so much with his life apart from his career. And I'm kind of like really kind of like got my 5-year plan going on, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's kind of weird like that, you know. I'm kind of like really sorted, but then, you know, he's 21, so, but he knows what he wants in terms of career. He's very focused on that, very dedicated, got exams. And so I think that is one of the most important things with any type of guy, is that does he know career-wise what he wants. Is he following his career path and dreams? Is he taking action to get there? Is he working hard for it? Because if a guy's working hard for a career and knows what he wants in that respect, he's more likely to treat a relationship like he knows what he wants and he's going for it. But he's told me he's inexperienced at relationships. He hasn't had a proper relationship before. He hasn't done full-on kissing before and stuff like that. So the first date he has with me will be one of the most kind of amazing times in his entire life, you know, and I know that for him. So of course I'm going to make it as special as possible for him. You know, he'll be like, oh, he probably won't want to go home, but he'll have to. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that, you know. So yeah, so I'm having a lot of luck with Facebook dating. It does get a bit much when I've got multiple feelings for multiple guys going on, because like I said, I'm a hyper romantic and I can't help that, and it gets very complicated. I feel like I'm in a complicated triangle or something the other day. Now it's all dissipated because I'm just like focusing on one guy again, which is my preference at the moment. Well, I'm saying focus on one guy. I've got other guys in my inbox talking to me, but in terms of a romantic relationship and kissing scenario, I'm only thinking about this one guy who I'm seeing on Friday. You know, the other guys are kind of out the picture now. One's blocked, the one on Sunday, and a guy I've got a soulmate connection to, I just like stopped talking to him very much anymore as from today, because I just like I can't be doing with it anymore, you know, because he's acting like he wants more than friendship, but then telling me he can't do that. So you know, so it's kind of very, very strange. But you know, I'm kind of enjoying the experience. I think for me personally, I want to get out of my comfort zone, and like I've said, I want real life experiences. You know, I don't want an online only relationship. I really can't stand that. To me, it's just like hiding behind a computer screen. And yeah, it's kind of like people are swiping based on looks. People are like kind of you know, people are like very artificial these days a lot of the time. They just swipe culture. And you know, and a lot of people just hide behind their computer and they don't want something real. I'm looking for a real relationship. I don't know if I'm going to get a real relationship from a guy on Facebook dating, to be quite honest with you. Like long-term, serious, committed relationship with a guy from Facebook dating, I don't know if it's going to happen. I feel more like it's likely to happen at the moment than it would have done before. But you know, it's like I'm dating heterosexuals. Like, how many heterosexuals really can live without sex? Not many. Most of them are going to lie, sadly. And it's really hard because you've got to figure out if they're lying about that or if there's any chance they could really do that. I think most of them couldn't. It doesn't mean to say none of them can, but I think most of them just lie. So this guy I'm seeing on Friday, he's like kind of, he would find it difficult. We can live without sex, but you know, and he has looked at asexuality a bit, which is really nice of him. I appreciate him for that. I love him for that. Love him as in a person, not as in I'm in love with him. But you know, but he's very, like I said, he's very physically driven, and I did actually originally say to him that it'd probably be better for him to find a sexual girl, but he said he'd been thinking about me all the time, really wants to see me, so I'm kind of like, okay. You know, so but I think I'll get on well with him. I don't see a problem getting on, but I'm not sure I could develop emotional connection with him. I can't have a long-term relationship with a guy anyway. I can't emotionally connect as well, because with asexuals we need an emotional connection to love. We need an emotional connection to feel good in a relationship. If all it is like more physical stuff, there's kind of a really big disconnect there. It kind of feels more artificial love. It doesn't feel like proper love. Like real true love is like deep, bestest ever friendship, soulmateship, if you like. It's like kind of like really like you can feel really comfortable around the person. You can be yourself. You can like just live day by day, and all kind of like more, I don't want to say ordinary life because I don't live an ordinary life, but you can do like kind of more regular things if you like, and you can just relax in the person's company, you know. And asexuals need that. They need emotional connection. They need to just feel comfy, like, you know, you're sitting in your favorite armchair and you're just like nattering with the person. You know, you kind of need to feel like in a love relationship. Whereas heterosexuals, it's very much based on, oh, my genitalia is going mad and I really want to see that person now. It's kind of like, oh my God. I don't want to say that, but it's the truth, you know. It's what heterosexuals are like a lot of the time. They're driven by their genitalia, and I'm like, I'm not driven by my genitalia at all. It's like happens to be there for functioning, and that's about it, you know. And so, like, for the guy I'm seeing on Friday, he's very, like, physically driven, and he's like, "But I thought you loved kissing. You put in your profile all about you love kissing." I'm like, "I really do love kissing, but I do need an emotional connection to think about a relationship, and I'm not just looking for kissing." But I just have to take it as it comes on Friday and know that I've committed now to having a date, probably involving quite a lot of kissing on Friday with an Indian guy in the UK. But I can change my mind at any time if I don't want to do it. But I will want to do it because I can tell. I mean, like, why wouldn't I want to kiss a 21-year-old Indian guy? It's kind of a dream of mine. Yeah, he's got nice hair as well. He's wearing a cap when I saw him today, and I'm like, "Can you take your cap off?" I'm like, "Oh my god, I love Indian hair. Like, to put my fingers through it, it's so beautiful." But yeah, so I have to see how that goes, and not to get too attached to him, because it wouldn't be very good if I don't hear or see him ever again, you know. But I have to see. Originally, actually, when he was on Facebook dating, I deleted the conversation with me and him, so he must be quite keen on me. In order, he found me on Facebook itself, because I just said he wanted friendship on the dating, and he hadn't really said much to me apart from like hi. And I'm thinking, well, this conversation isn't going anywhere, so clearly he's not interested. So I deleted him off Facebook dating. He found me on Facebook. He's like, "Oh hi, I was really disappointed to see our messages have been like deactivated. Like, was there a problem?" Question mark. And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I thought you weren't interested in talking to me because you didn't keep the conversation going." And he's like, "Oh no, I really like you. I makes sense, you know, I'm really attracted to you. I really want to kiss you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I really want to kiss you too." That was kind of how it went. But yeah, so I know that I like the fact he actually went out and took the time to go and find me on Facebook rather than, you know, even though I delete his conversation on Facebook dating. I think that's quite funny. But yeah, he seems to like, I do think he's quite intelligent, which I like. I can talk to him, which is good. He wears lovely clothes. I love street clothes. You know, I have clothes attraction, street clothes. Well, the guy who I dated on Sunday, who I'm not speaking to anymore, but he had really beautiful street clothes on. I mean, he made him like really 10 times more attractive, probably, if I'm honest. And the guy who I'm going to be seeing on Friday, you know, he had nice clothes on, but they are street clothes. So I'm like, was dressed in this top today, and he's got street clothes on, but I do like street clothes. I don't have, you know, I'll probably have more clothes on than this. Like us in a top and hoodie or something when I see him, but unless it's really sunny. But yeah, so I'm quite excited to see what happens on Friday. I'm just like, "Oh, Sandra, what have you done?" But no, in a good way. I had to make my decision about whether to see him or not on Friday. First it was yes, then it was no, then it was yes. I'm like, okay. But you know, I'm quite excited, but I'm really nervous and anxious at the same time. But I don't think I need to be. And he's 21, he's younger than me, so a little bit. Just a little bit. My mind says 21, so that's okay. Actually, he's older than me because he's got a really old soul, so that'll work out probably quite well. He talks really older. I'm not used to talking to someone who's so older in a young person's body. It's quite good. But yeah, so far I'm actually having. I have to say, like, I'm having a mixture of bad experiences in the sense that, like, the guy on Sunday did lie and deceive me, so that's bad. But at the time, it was a good experience when I was with him. But afterwards, it wasn't. But then I'm having overall, I'd say I'm having good experiences. As in, I'm having some experiences because I think life is so short. And life is about actually having real experiences. You know, like some people like red letter days. I don't know if you know what those are, but basically there are where people have experiences, real life experiences. It might be a helicopter ride, for example. You know, like you want it, or a hot air balloon ride. You know, it's an experience. Like I like to go into the cinema, for example, because I like a real live in-person experience. There's something very different about an in-person experience to what there is an online experience. Now, I love being online. Don't get me wrong. I love, like, you know, I love you on this channel. I adore you on this channel. I mean, this channel has had over, I looked a few minutes ago, before I came on the stream, well, 38 minutes I've been on here now, and this channel's had over 32,000 views in the last 28 days. I mean, that is over my personal best. 24 was before, 13 24,000 before, 13,000 before that. And so I'm getting so many more eyeballs on this channel. I cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for being here on it. You know, I love being on this channel. You notice I'm trying to like do a lot of different things on this channel now, more vlogs as well, because I know they're very popular. So I'm trying to expand what I do so that you've got a variety of content on this channel. But you know, like it is emotional for me. Like when I do dating, it does get sometimes emotionally draining. I find it does throw me off course a bit with my writing and videos, which is a shame. Because if I'm emotionally upset and stuff, like with the guy who did deceive me and lied to me, you know, it's sad, you know, and so I was upset that he could do that, you know. But I'm glad that I'm satisfied he's not the right guy for me now. So I'm okay, you know, I'm okay with thinking that was a nice experience when I dated him in that moment. Glad I gave some love, care, and attention to him. Because I think that's what people want sometimes. Like there's something called the law of attraction. And if you follow it, it's all about you attract what you know, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. But actually a lot of the time you attract your opposite. You know, like if I'm a person who gives out a lot of love, and I do have a huge amount of love to give, I'm ultimately going to have a proportion of people, guys for example, who are drawn towards me because they lack love. And so they look at this person thinking, oh my God, she's full of love and I need some, and I'm going to go to her to get some. Because, you know, it's like when you go to a shop to look for essentials first, usually, don't you? Like, oh, I need toilet paper. I need you know, like, I don't know, toilet paper is really essential, isn't it? You know what I mean? But if you use flour in your cooking, you know, if you use bread or milk, I don't have bread or milk, so that's come out. But we're going to do the example of toilet paper. It's stuff that you need that you can't kind of live without. And so a lot of people, like if they're lacking love in themselves, in the world feels quite harsh to them, quite cruel, and maybe it really is from their perspective, because we've all got our own stories to tell, then of course they're going to be gravitating more towards someone like me, who's like bubbly, vibrant, energetic, got lots of love to give, and is a very loving, caring person. I really am. And I know I have bundles of love to give. I try and give a lot on this channel because I love asexuals. I love helping asexuals. There's a lot of people on here that watch me that aren't necessarily asexual as well. And I do believe the world does need love and compassion. I think the world would be a far better place if it was like that. You know, one of the nice things the guy at the weekend did say to me at that time was it'd be nice if there were more Sandras in the world, because, you know, I'm very much about compassion and love and stuff, you know, and I do care about people. You know, the guy I dated the weekend, I did genuinely care about him. It's just a shame that he lied and deceived me and couldn't stop lying, you know. But I do, you know, did care about him. I am glad he had the experience with me, and it was a good experience at the time. And, you know, and I did have a really nice time in person with him. I think it's a shame that he went like that, you know. Shame for him, really. It's not going to do him any benefits being like that in life. It's just going to make him more lonely, you know, sadly. When really I think he does want a true love relationship and someone to understand him. And it's a shame because he would have got that with me had it turned into a relationship. But yeah, anyway, that's by the by because it's gone now. I wish him a lot of love and luck, you know. But yeah, so you've just got to, like, when you're dating, you've just got to, like, kind of see who's good for you and who's not good for you and then move on. And it's kind of like really difficult. But I was glad with the guy at the weekend. I took extra time with him. I didn't make a decision immediately to just leave his life. And I think that's made me better. I'm a lot more calmer now because I know for a fact and definite I've made the right decision. Whereas sometimes in the past, a lot of the time in the past, I've been like, I'm in line thinking, should I have done that? Should I have split up with the guy? Should I have left the guy? Should I have left his life? And yes, pretty much every time I should have done anyway. But it's been more of a like, I've still got unanswered questions. I've still got lack of clarity on things. But I've got enough information to know he's no good for me, right? But it's kind of like untied ends. Whereas with the guy at the weekend, there's a lot more ends that are completely tied for me. And I did give him the opportunity, and you know, and if you know, he needs to realize that I gave him the opportunity to video chat and put things right, but he didn't really want to do that. You know, and so that's okay, you know. But you know, people do get lonely in life. You know, it's one of the basic human needs in life is connection. People need to feel connected on some way, whether that is online or in person. It's different for everyone. Basic connection is meanings they need to feel a connection with someone, and that's why the internet is so big. That's why people love flicking through things. It's kind of like both dopamine hit when they're flicking through their Facebook or their Netflix, what they're doing, and also, you know, the fact that they're feeling connection of some sort, you know. And that's why people come to YouTube as well, to find things out, answers to their questions, and also to get connection. And it's one of the 5 ways to well-being. It's a basic human need to want to connect with others on some level. Obviously, people have different ways of doing that. A lot of people I come across are introverts, both in the asexual community and also outside of the asexual community. And when they're introverted, you know, too much like actual contact all the time, like physical contact, for example, being in the what I mean by that is being in the same room with someone, is too energy draining for them. They do need time out on their own to like get away from things. But with introverts, so you can, you know, there's still going to be a certain lot of them that's going to want to do online gaming with others. That's want to go and watch TV. Even TV is a connection with people, because there's people on TV in the box that you are making some sort of connection with emotionally. Probably it's probably getting an emotional reaction out of you and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just a basic human need that people need to connect to other people. And I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong with that, but I just think it's the intention behind why someone wants to connect. Like this guy on Friday genuinely may just want to connect with me, to kiss me, and that is it, which is what I strongly have thought and feel. You know, and I might be very much right on that. So I've just got to understand that that's okay. I've just got, if I meet up with him, I just got to be okay that that's okay if that's all that happens. If more that happens and he carries on seeing me, that can also be really good, you know. So I think when you're dating, you've just got to manage your expectations. You've got to try and assess what the other person's expectations are. See, me, I fully know what I want for like the coming years, like this year, next year, and the up to the next 5 years, with my life, really. And these people that I'm meeting, they don't really have all their life sorted out. Some of them, they kind of like, you know, they're more of go with flow people. I'm not a go with flow girl. Like, I like definite things. But having said that, again, like opposites do attract. Sometimes a person like me, who's well organized, efficient, time management person who enjoys planning and doing things, works well with someone who's more of a go with the flow type, because they are just like, yeah, you organize it, you know, you plan it, I'll turn up and do it with you, you know. And so, you know, sometimes it can work out really well because you can have complementary characteristics and traits, you know. When you are obviously meeting up with heterosexual, like I said, you must insist it's a public place. He was taken aback. He thought I was going to meet him in private. And I'm like, no, I would not have a guy in my place. You know, and it's pretty obvious to me, because I'm asexual, that I'm not going to want a guy in my place, you know. But he's like, but you like kissing. I'm like, yeah, but if I'm not in a relationship, which I wouldn't be, first of all, with a guy, if I'm kissing, it's in public and in private. You know, I'm a very public girl, you know, I'm really public. I love public kissing. And it's safer. I'm not going to be going around doing like yeah, stuff like that. But having said that, there's more secluded areas in public, more private areas in public that I know where to go to. So you kind of got the best of both worlds. You know, so yeah, I'm looking forward to having an in-person date with an Indian guy on Friday. I mean, it is going to be a dream come true for me. So sometimes in life, you just have to live your dreams and hope for the best, and things work out, they do. If they don't, you've still got to know they are working out for the best. Because if you meet someone and that person's not right for you, it's still better for you that you had that experience and you not left wondering, is that guy good for me? Is that guy right for me? Should I be with him? Should I not be with him? Which I think is what the Indian guy's thinking that's meeting me on Friday. He did say, you know, he needs to know kind of like if I would be right to continue to see more, basically, because he can tell that through kissing, and so can I usually. So I did really understand his point of view. I have to say I really relate to him on that. I like, for example, in the past, I had this one guy, heterosexual guy, who I got into a relationship with because I knew his mother, actually. And I got into a relationship with him because we went to, I think it was a wedding reception together. And I agreed to be his girlfriend. This is when I was 15, I think. Yeah, I think I was 15 at the time. I'm trying to remember when I met him. Or was I a bit older? I might have been 16. No, I think I might have been 16. Yeah, I think I might have been 16. 16. I'm trying to remember. I block a lot of the other guys out now because it's like we weren't suitable. So anyway, I met him and yeah, he kissed me once and I'm just like, no, I just can't be in a relationship with him. When he kissed me, it felt like a lizard kissing me, which is gross. And I just thought I'm meant to be friends with this guy. I'm not meant to be in a relationship. And so, you know, I'm just going to take some water. So what I think is, you know, I have a lot of asexuals that I see in groups and forums. They're like, oh, I hate kissing. It's gross and all that lot. And I know that's perfectly valid and it's fantastic, you know, if people know what they like, don't like and everything. But I have to say that I love kissing a lot, but there are certain people I don't want to kiss. And unless I feel some aesthetic attraction, it would be gross for me to kiss a guy I wasn't aesthetically attracted to, for example. I wouldn't like it at all. And also I like controlled kissing. So, you know, if you're kissing and the guy's slobbering all over, that's not going to be a good experience for anyone. You know, kissing is a skill just like anything else that can be learnt in life. And if someone doesn't do it right or they're doing it really completely wrong, it can just end up like feeling like, I don't know, a snake in your mouth or something. Or in the case of the guy when I was 16, a lizard. But I can just tell, like, if I kiss a guy, I can just tell if I'm meant to be just friends with that guy. So, you know, like it's a different type of feeling. It's like, oh, I just kissed my friend. What's gone on? Oh, it's gross, you know. And if it's like that, then I know that is a big no-no and that I can only ever just be their friend. Obviously, if I'm kissing a heterosexual guy, then he needs to control himself sexually, which is obviously going to be harder for him to do that, especially with a beautiful girl like me. I know I'm very physically attractive for a lot of guys, so I was going to say girls then. I do get girls attracted to me as well. You know, so I have there's a lot of heterosexual guys who find it very difficult to control themselves sexually around me because I am very aesthetically attractive to them. I'm very sexually attractive to them. And so, you know, I've got to be with a guy who can really control himself, and that takes a lot of effort. So some heterosexual guys, it's very difficult. For me, it's not, because I can just kiss a guy for up to 3 hours, never get bored, and never want sex. I don't get the need, urge, want for it. So I'm there kissing a guy thinking it's just great, and I'm living on cloud 9, just enjoying the mouth action. Whereas he's like thinking, oh my God, I'm enjoying the kissing, but I really want to do more. I want to have sex because my genitalia is telling me to have sex like now. So I know I'm being quite like intimately, specifically talking here, but I think it's good for you to understand what it's like if you're dating a heterosexual and you're a sex repulsed asexual from the heterosexual point of view as well. Like a heterosexual person is very much like, if they are attracted to someone physically, they are very much driven by their genitalia, their body's doing stuff that they will, so their body does stuff to them that will drive their mind and drive their actions. So, you know, I'm seeing this guy on Friday, he's driven by physical attraction for me, probably high sexual attraction. He's not going to get the sex. I've made that perfectly clear. It's off limits. No way at all will I do that, and I will not do anything I don't want to do. But I am a big, you know, like I am a big muscled girl, and, you know, I won't do anything I don't want to do. If he so much as does anything that I don't like, it'll be, you know, it'll be like, go away, you know. So I won't let him. I'll be very strict about, he has spoke to me in depth about what he can and can't do, but I will talk to him more about the time, because there's things that I just, you know, like I like the guy's hands around my back, for example. I'm like, you're not allowed to touch my top, like I don't like my breasts being touched and stuff like that, so do not do any of that type of thing. I just don't like that type of thing. So I've been very, very specific about, he did ask me up front, so it was like considerate. I think it's better for someone to discuss things up front than not at all. But at the same time, the stuff he was asking me was very intimate stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, it was too much for me, really. As a sex repulsed asexual, I did feel uncomfortable. He didn't mean, well, he said he didn't mean to make me feel uncomfortable, which I'm guessing he wouldn't do. But you know, because if he did, then it's going to put me off him, really, which I don't think he wants. So, you know, but it's really difficult because, you know, asexuals and sex repulsed asexual, for example, is very different to a heterosexual who's physically sexually attracted to someone, you know. And I don't know how that would work out long term. I don't know if he could actually live without sex forever. He said he could, but I think he's going to find it very difficult, especially with someone like me. It's like because I know that sexual guys just like it's like how can I put it? It's like very involuntary with me that they get sexually attracted to me. And I'm aware of this, but it's kind of like really difficult as a sex repulsed asexual when you love kissing so much, because usually it is the heterosexual guys that love to kiss the most. Probably because it does stuff in their genitalia as well as their mouth, I know I've been very explicit here, and I know for all the sex repulsed asexuals that watch this channel, I'm really sorry, because I know you probably want to throw up in a bucket right now, and I completely get that. But I just want people who are watching this video who are asexual, sex repulsed, thinking about dating heterosexuals to know what it's like from both points of view. So from my point of view, I'm like thinking if I want to kiss a guy, oh, he's a beautiful painting, like his face is like a beautiful painting, a beautiful picture, and I want to kiss that picture because I love looking at it and I kind of want to eat it. Like if you see a piece of food, many asexuals talk about cake, and you see your favorite cake and you want to eat that cake and you want more and more of that cake. That's kind of how kissing is for me, but that's more like how sex is for sexuals, So for example, with kissing, if I kiss a little bit, I want to kiss more and more and more and more and more because I love that thing, right? And so like for me it's just like really good, but for heterosexuals, they like the kissing, but it's like the sex for them is the icing on the cake and the raspberry jam filling in one. Do you know what I mean? Which I don't want to do. I just like all the sponge itself without the cream and the jam filling. Oh my god, I like natural stuff. I like the sponge, like everything. I mean, actually, in reality, I like cream and jam, but I can't eat it because I've got loads of food allergies. But that's like but in terms of an analogy, I prefer just the sponge. I prefer just the main cake, not all the other bits. Because to me, like, for me, sex is like too adult for me. I know that sounds really weird. I've had sex in the past. I haven't had it for over 10 years, thank God. But, for me, it's kind of like I don't want to do the adult sex stuff. It's just horrible. I want to have a young, fun, teenager-style relationship with loads of kissing, loads of cuddling, loads of chatting to the early hours, sharing secrets, being there for each other, and just having fun, in a non-sexual way. That's kind of like what type of relationship I want. Whereas heterosexual guys, obviously, they do have other needs. They have like much more physical needs. And so I think, if you are going to date heterosexuals and you're asexual or asexual, you really need to get a balance. And I think that's very, very difficult. Very difficult to get a balance because, like you've got your asexual needs, they got their sexual needs. And if, they, to be for a heterosexual guy who's driven sexually, it's going to be very difficult for him not to have sex. It's going to I don't know if he could do that full time all the time. So you've got to be aware that you might get into a relationship and realize that it's just not going to work out because you're not compatible. But it depends how the person is. Like the guy I'm going to see on Friday and the other guy at the weekend, they said that they were happy. They might be lying. Both of them might be lying. The guy on the weekend was lying about a lot of stuff, or not telling me the truth, deceiving me, and then went to lies. But lying as well, yeah. But anyway, so they might both be lying, about they're not wanting to, they don't say they want sex with me. It's like they're okay with not doing that because they know that's not what I want. They can live without it. So you got to understand that most guys lie about this type of thing. Most heterosexuals lie. But there are a very small proportion that can do it. So sometimes you might just want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but always realizing that it might not work out, that you might just be completely incompatible, and that's okay. You have to understand that, but all I want is I don't want to get into a relationship with the guy who's actually seeing someone else because it's just wasting my frigging time and his. And like, please do not do that to me. If you want sex, go after someone else because I'm just not interested in that. I don't have any desire or need or urge or want. And a lot of heterosexual guys just can't understand that. It's like, they want to act on their physical feelings, whereas I want to act on my emotional connection, personality, intrigue, wanting to spend time with the person, connection before physical. So for me, I kind of like all the other stuff in terms of relationship. But with this guy on Friday, I'm thinking, it's unlikely to lead to an actual relationship. It's just like going to be mostly geared towards physical stuff first early on. And I know that because I've got years of experience. Doesn't mean to say it can't, because some guys are so driven by physicality that if they feel very physically connected to a girl, it will usually more emotionally connect them to a girl. And so for them, if they get physically attached to a girl and really like that girl physically, they will do whatever it takes to meet up with them regularly, but it'll be for physical contact a lot of the time. It's not like going to necessarily be able to sustain a long-lasting, loving, fulfilling relationship when there's so much physical stuff driven there. But, all in general, the stereotypical gender of guys anyway, they are, like I said earlier, physically driven. Or, but, this is what it's like in the heteronormative, heterosexual world, It's like really weird. Sorry, I've got a plane clearly going over my house at the moment, flat. But yeah, sorry about the noise, it's live. So, but I've got to, you have to realize if you're dating heterosexuals that they do think differently, they do feel differently, they do have different bodily urges, which I don't get. They do, they do have different mindset. That's why personally it would be better really for me to find a compatible asexual guy rather than a heterosexual guy. But I decided to expand my ideology and my reach a bit to say, hey, could I possibly date heterosexuals again? And if I do just date them, at least I get in-person proper experiences with the real person. I kind of think it's better sometimes to have a experience with an in-person person, really, in real life, offline, even if a guy's got a lot of imperfections, than to be having a fantasy online with someone that's never ever going to work out, and you'll just like literally end up bashing your head against the brick wall, emotionally connecting to a guy who isn't, or person who isn't actually going to end up in a relationship with you either, but you've got such high attachment, which can happen, which I've been getting a bit more for towards a guy who I thought is more like my soulmate from Facebook dating, but clearly he's going back to his own country, so he can't be. It's kind of like, I want a real relationship with a real guy in real time, in person, even if he's not going to be perfect, because I know he's not going to be perfect. I think it's better to have that, something real and imperfect, than it is to have like a fantasy online all the time of just swiping through people and not having anything real. It's like, I want a real relationship, a real experience, even a real dating experience, and just online all the time. Like, I've been doing online dating now since 2014, and predominantly most of it's been online, And it's like, actually, I want some in-person time. I want to physically hold a guy's hand. I want to physically cuddle a guy. I want to physically kiss a guy. I want some physical connection with a guy, And I think sometimes asexuals can relate to that, because asexuals do have physical needs. Not all of us do, but a lot of us do, but not all of us do. Some asexuals are like, touch repulsed, get away from me, I don't want your fingers near me. They don't want to know. And some asexuals can have a really caring, loving, committed relationship without much touching at all. But from what I know, a lot of asexuals at least want cuddling, and some asexuals go to cuddle groups because they lack the physical connection, because they don't want sex, so they don't want to get into a relationship or date someone that's going to be physically wanting sex or more thinking about it, but they still miss the physical connection, the physical touch. And I don't want people to feel guilty about them wanting physical touch if they're asexual. There can be kind of a shaming around it. Like, oh, you're asexual, so why do you need that? Why do you need physical touch? I don't understand. You don't want sex. Why do you need physical stuff? Because we are human beings at the end of the day. We're all human, and physical touch, some of us have got love languages, which are physical touch. It was a shame because the weekend with the older guy, we did have the same love languages, which was quality time, and physical touch and words of affirmations. It was the same top three, to each other, but that, like I said, didn't work out anyway. But love languages are so important, and physical touch, although I'm asexual, I do like a lot of physical touch. I like if I'm with a guy, I like to be holding his hand all the time, even go around food shopping in the supermarket. I like to be stroking his hair, cuddling into him, nuzzling into him. I'm very physical for an asexual, but not wanting the sex. So obviously, if I'm dating heterosexual guys, I do need to be very boundary driven with them and say, look, I'm doing this physical thing with you, but I don't want it to lead to that. I'm doing this with you, but don't get the wrong idea about that, because people read body language. And when you looking and studying body language, you can see usually what a person would like sexually by their way they look in their eyes, by their behavior, by their mannerisms, by what they do, by the way they are, look at you, speak to you, that, you know, the hand gestures, face gestures. And so, you know, you can tell like where they're thinking about leading. And asexuals, sometimes we do act with sexual behavior, and we act as if we are going to want to do sexual stuff. For example, if we like a lot of kissing, because society sees that as, oh, you like a lot of kissing, you're really getting physically close, then they see it as natural to add on to that sex, to go towards sexual acts and sex. That's the way society sees it. And the body language, if you're really into physical kissing, being physically close, that would usually suggest you love being physically intimate. Therefore, you would automatically like the other stuff, the sexual acts, the kissing, the sexual touching, but, you know, and sex. But it doesn't work like that with every asexual. With a lot of asexuals, it doesn't work like that. With some asexuals, it might, because some asexuals have sex, some asexuals are sex positive, some asexuals don't mind doing that. But with people who are sex repulsed like me, it kind of ends there. So if I've got sexual behavior, I'm really kissing a guy, he might think, oh my God, this is a signal, because her eyes are related, she's really into me, she's really physically kissing me, this is a signal to go and do more now, to do more touching with her, to do sexual acts, to do sex with her, you know. But it doesn't mean that with me. So I have to be really clear with the guy that, you know, because I don't want to lead him on, I don't want to give him the wrong impression, I have to be really crystal clear that I will not be doing X, Y, and Z. And I do not want you touching me here, there, and there, you know. And he has to be perfectly clear about that, you know, because at the end of the day, consent is everything. Absolutely, consent is everything with kissing, with touching. And you need to know this, you know, heterosexual guys do need to understand asexual women, if they're both hetero, you know, and thinking about relationship. It's very important, because heterosexuals need to make sure they don't sexually abuse an asexual, especially a sex repulsed asexual who doesn't want a lot of sexual touching a lot of the time in the first place. There's more chance of sexual abuse to take place with someone who doesn't like having sex, doesn't like any type of sex act, doesn't like any type of sexual touching, because they're more likely to slip into doing some of that stuff, like either in a not a good way, in a forceful way, or in a more natural way, like, oh, I've been kissing you and then I touched your breast and I just thought that was in the moment, I just did that, I didn't realize what I was doing with my hands, and it's just felt natural to me. You've got to be very careful of that type of thing, because to heterosexuals that would usually be the, you know, if a heterosexual guy is kissing a woman, for example, and he's kissing her a lot in the mouth and that, he would usually reach up to stroke her chest, her breast. This is where it would usually go, and then feel down her back and all this type of stuff. I have to let you know this is what happens, and it kind of feels natural for a heterosexual to do that. It's a natural progression. But with a sex repulsed asexual, for example, it's kind of like that's where it ends. It's like the kissing is the end. It might not be for every asexual. If you are an asexual who loves physical touching, you don't mind being touched all over your body, that's okay. Everyone has different boundaries in their life, in their relationships, in their physicality, in the way they like to be physically touched or not touched. Everyone has their own boundaries, and that's okay. It's okay if you do like doing sexual acts, if you do like to be touched sexually in a lot of places, it's okay. You know, we have to stop the stigma that there's something wrong with being sexually touched or having sexual acts if we want it, but we must also stop the presumption that everyone wants it and it's natural for everyone when it isn't. This is the problem. People should be treated as individuals with individual needs, individual thoughts, individual feelings and opinions, individual boundaries, individuals' needs, wants, likes, dislikes, individual desires. You know, this is where it should be. But instead of doing that, everyone in society clumps people together like, oh, everyone wants sex. It's natural for everyone to have sex. No, it is not natural for everyone to want to have sex. I do not naturally want to have sex. I do not want to have sex. It isn't natural for me. It's nothing natural about opening genitalia and doing that type of thing. In fact, it's quite hideous to me these days. Yes, I've done that in the past, but I just don't like even the thought of it. I just like my clothes kept on, you know. I will go, I will be more kind of like close to a guy physically than a lot of asexuals probably would who are sex repulsed, because I can get very physically close with clothes on. I don't have a problem with that, as long as there's not touching in places that I don't want. But, again, it's all about having boundaries. Boundaries are, kind of like, boundaries kind of like, I don't like to say rules, but it is basically like, like rules, conditions for standards, if you like, for where you want the relationship to be, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate. And that in terms of physical boundaries as well, it's kind of like, like you've got to be very specific about what can happen, what can't happen. Obviously, like sometimes you might not know what you like and don't like. And that is what's really difficult if you're a sex repulsed asexual and you're dating a heterosexual. Is like, if you're not sure what you like in terms of physical touch, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to be boundary driven. I'm very boundary driven because I know what I like and don't like in terms of physical touch. I'm very, very sure about that. There may be some things I'm not 100% sure about if I was in a long-term committed relationship further down the line. But at the moment, I'm very fixed on what I like and what I don't like. And so for me, it's just like really like easier for me to tell a guy, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is where you can touch, this is where you can't touch, this is what I will do, this is what I'm not willing to do. And so I would encourage you, if you're asexual who's thinking about dating heterosexuals or heterosexual, please do think about what you like to do physically, don't like to do physically, before you kind of go on the dating scene and start talking about it. Because if you're kind of wishy-washy, a person's more likely to be able to persuade you. Like this guy, because I'm seeing him on Friday, the Indian guy on Friday, like this Friday coming, like, because I changed my mind a couple of times. Like originally I kind of like, I said about a video date before meeting up in person. So to be fair to him, he did ask me for an in-person date. And I said to him, yes, but I basically said, yeah, but I would need to video chat first. That's great. He wants to do that. I don't know if I actually said the word yes, but I said, that's great. And I would have to video chat with him first. So we had originally booked in a video call for this Friday. But I was upset the other day, and he did say he didn't like to hear me upset. So he did call me on the phone and do a audio call he did on Facebook. And that was really sweet. I have to say I did like him a lot for that. Like if he was just after me for physical stuff, I don't actually think he would have done that, which I haven't thought about until now, actually. I've just sprung to my mind that if he was interested in just me physically, he don't think he would have phoned up and been there for me when I was crying the other day. So that was really sweet. I was crying because I kind of felt the dating scene had become a bit of a mess for me, because I'd end up having feelings for 3 guys at once. And I just hate that scenario. It just feels like not good to me. And I felt like the whole thing was a mess. Like I'm soulmate attracted to a guy from Facebook dating who needs marriage and to live together and is going back to his own country. And so that would be no good for me. But I have an emotional attachment and connection to him. Then there was a guy at the weekend who now I know is fine, he's not suitable for me, but back then I didn't. So I had some connection to him and romantic and an aesthetic attraction. And then, and the soulmate guy I do have aesthetic attraction for as well, and some romance as well. And then there's now this guy that kind of popped up, which I wasn't expecting, because I deleted his messages off Facebook dating, and so that kind of confused me a bit. I'm like, oh, but I do like him aesthetically, and he is my ideal age group, 21, and he is Indian, and he's British, and born, and so I'm going to have no problems with the visa with him, and I'm going to have that to worry about. He's not going to be with me for a visa because he's literally British born, like in this country permanently, born here, which is what I've always wanted. A guy who's Indian British born here, he's like 21 to 23 ideally. So from that point of view, he's really ideal for me. That's just one thing. But like he was there for me when I was upset. He said, oh, I didn't like to hear that you were upset, and so I phoned you because to chat to you. And so I think I didn't really think about that until now, which I'm glad I thought about that, because I was just thinking he's very physically driven to see me, but he wouldn't have bothered to spend lots of time with me trying to talk to me when I was upset if he was just into me physically. He wouldn't bother to do that. Yeah, and I think we were talking for like over an hour and a half then as well. So yeah, that was really sweet of him. I have to say, it's really nice. Yeah. So, but then he messaged me today saying he's free on Friday and he's got exams then for like a month, so he couldn't see me. Really wants to see me on Friday. And at first I said like, yeah, but then I felt it's too much pressure because he kept talking about kissing all the time, even though I love kissing so much. So then I said yeah, and then I said no, and then he talked to me on video chat because he's like, can we do the video chat today, like date? And I'm like, yeah, okay, because I won't because he on about meeting up, and I'm like, I won't meet up with the guy until I video chat with him first. Like, I had a video date, I wouldn't do it, you know, it's just it's a rule of mine. So anyway, I video dated with him and it went really well actually. So yeah, so I decided to think, what's the worst case scenario? I get to kiss a beautiful, attractive young Indian guy in the UK who's like my dream look probably, and enjoy it. It's like, what's bad about that? Nothing really, is there? So long as it's under my own boundary conditions, if you like, you know, like in a public place, can't touch here, there, and everywhere, but can kiss me here and can touch there, you know. So I just think it's really good. So I would urge you, like, if you are dating, to know exactly what you like physically, exactly kind of like have your goals, ambitions, dreams in mind for you. Listen to what the guys say, what they do, how they act around you, how they act when they're not with you as well. Do their actions match their words? Do their words match their actions? Are they just bullshitting you, which a lot of them can do? A lot of them will do that, and I have to understand that a lot of them are bullshitters, excuse my language, but they are. So we have to understand this. Unfortunately, sexuals, like I said, are very sexually driven, and usually that's their motive for doing a lot of things. So we have to understand this. It doesn't mean to say that you can't meet a heterosexual and maybe it is physical sexual attraction for them, because it's going to be, really. That's one of the things that drives them. But then they might still fall in love with an asexual girl. They might still think, wow, okay, I could actually live without sex, and I do want to be with this asexual girl because she seems amazing. You know, I don't think it's impossible. I know people that come on this channel, they're in relationships with asexual. Well, particularly one guy, he's probably 21 now. Sparky666, hello, if you're out there. Lots of love to you. He's got an asexual girlfriend and he's heterosexual, but he'd rather be with her and not have sex, even if his friends make fun of him, than be without her, you know, and he's very stable and secure with her. You know, and so there are exceptions to the rule, and we have to understand that the world is big and large, and you know there might be some heterosexuals that are telling the truth that they could live without. It's very rare though. Just know that a lot of them are going to lie to you. But you know, like, I think, you know, to just like dismiss all heterosexuals, which I've usually done a lot in the past, and I'm still willing to do it again in the future if this whole dating scenario turns out completely rubbish, which it might do. But, you know, I'm willing to give some heterosexuals a chance, because why not? You know, life is big and huge and there's thousands of people in the world. And in the meantime, if these guys are not right for me, my asexual Indian guy will no doubt show up one day in my life. If it's not, if it's an Indian guy, well, I know it's an Indian guy I'm meant to be with, but if it's an asexual Indian guy, I haven't met that guy yet. So yeah. We'll just have to see what happens. But, you know, I am going to enjoy the date on Friday. I really am. I'm going to think of it like my dream coming true. I'm going to enjoy every bit of the date, because it is my dream to have a date with an Indian guy. And he's going to be into kissing a lot, which is going to be really good for me. I like kissing exercise. Woo-woo. I haven't had any for over 2 years. It's going to be good. Oh my god. Oh yeah. But I didn't tell him I was excited about kissing him as I'm telling you now. If he's watching, hello. He said, oh, you know, like, I was containing my excitement, but now, like, you can see on this channel, I'm really excited about it. I was containing it because I was very cautious and very nervous and very scared in some ways, but now I'm not really thinking that way. Now I'm just thinking, Sandra, it's going to be your dream come true. What are you talking about? Go for it, girl. But yes, so I would say, you know, like, whatever happens to dating, just remember to try and enjoy it as much as possible. It's supposed to be fun. It's dating. It's not supposed to be like a chore or something you're hating or something you're not looking forward to. It's supposed to be like a pleasant experience. getting to know a real person in real time, in real life, experiencing physical touch. I do love physical touch, you know, like on Friday, I'm gonna get to touch a guy who's Indian, who's got beautiful coloured skin. It's gonna be so good for me. I'll be like, and touch heaven. So, you know, like asexuals if you're very sensual asexual, so what does that mean? So some asexuals are very sensual. So it means we love physical touch. We love, like, for example, I love to stroke the guy's hair. I love to kiss him on his nose, on his cheeks, on his earlobes, run my fingers through his hair. I like to stroke his arms. I like shoulders and then down the arms. I love holding his hands. It's like beautiful. So I do love a lot of physical stuff. I really do. I'm very sensual in that way. But for me, it doesn't lead on to sex. You know, so I'm very, very physical, but I have limits in that physicality. And so obviously for a heterosexual, it's difficult because for him, it could be like teasing him. Like he wants to go further and I don't. But, you know, some heterosexuals really do like the kissing. I mean, for them, it's like a huge, big deal to them. So really, I feel I do like, if I'm going to end up with a heterosexual guy, which looks like it might be possible, that I really need one who really is getting ultimate satisfaction from kissing alone. That is possible, but for some rare folks, but I have to see if it's possible for him and also for me with him. And I mean, what I mean by that is like, is the physicality with him gonna be enough for me to even think about having a relationship with him when I need a lot of other stuff? But, you know, obviously if I don't get my other stuff needs met, then eventually it won't work out because I'll just kind of get bored and think this doesn't feel right and it feels a bit empty. But the things I do like about this young Indian guy is he is like older for his age. He seems quite mature and he seems to have his head screwed on really well. There doesn't seem to be anything kind of weird or strange about him. He seems to be quite a normal guy in that way. I'm not used to normal guys, so that is going to feel a bit weird for me. I'm actually not used to normal guys. I know that sounds weird, but I tend to end up with guys who are completely not normal that I end up dating or being in a relationship with. And I'm not really that attracted to normal, but it could be good for me to be attracted to more normal guys. So maybe I would have a more emotionally stable relationship potentially, but we'll have to see. I don't really know enough about this guy yet. I kind of keep looking for other things with him, but maybe there just isn't so much with him. I don't know, but I do think he's a very intelligent person, and he speaks like really well, such like a proper British accent. I'm sure he could be like on the BBC radio or something like that. His voice is that kind of like smooth and well spoken. It's really weird when he talks to me. I feel like I'm talking slang all the time, and really casual, quick, colloquial slang language. And when he talks to me, I feel he's like talking really formally and poshly. It's really funny. But that could work out really well. Like I said, sometimes opposites attract. Sometimes contrast is really good to have. So I have to see, because I am getting more excited for seeing him and kissing him now, which I wasn't before, because I was kind of like really worried and scared. But now I think I've kind of passed that barrier and kind of now thinking, oh, I really want that. I'm really getting excited for it instead, which is good because I made a decision. I had to make an ultimate decision. He said to me that, you know, he thinks that if I definitely didn't want to do that with him, I would definitely say no. And I would definitely say no. If I hadn't got some part of me that wanted to do that, I would be like, no way in hell. But, you know, it's kind of like, I do love kissing. So I have to see what happens on the date on Friday. I'm quite excited about it. I'm like, oh my God, it's only the day after tomorrow. But I'm Skyping my best asexual friend tonight, so I'll be good. I haven't caught up with them for ages. But yes, don't forget, if you are doing dating, to make sure you're spending some time with your friends as well. Always maintain your friendships and connections with other people. It's very healthy. Don't ever get so involved with someone in a relationship or dating scenario that you only talk to them alone and you spend all your time with them and you don't spend time with other people, because that's unhealthy. You want to remember always to have the ability to walk away from someone who doesn't treat you right. So if this guy decides not to treat me right for some reason, then obviously I won't be able to continue to see him again in the future. I'll have to be off, you know, and that's okay. But, you know, you always have to have the ability to walk away. I'm very good at doing that these days. It's not easy because I get emotionally attached, but it's easier than it used to be, because it's like, well, okay, there's thousands of other guys in the world. At the end of the day, if I'm opening myself up to date heterosexual guys, I mean, there's hundreds of heterosexual guys, thousands and thousands. And a proportion of those will obviously say that they could live without sex, even if they can't, which obviously means they're liars, and that's not going to be good long term. But there's going to be probably a proportion of, like, small proportion that will try a relationship without sex because they maybe haven't been in a relationship for years, and maybe they just want true pure love, and they're fed up of being on their own, and they really want a true connection, and they see this beautiful asexual person. They're like, wow, I feel so much love from this asexual person. I feel so much connection from them. I feel so much like pure like emotional bliss with them. And so asexual can bring a lot to the table to heterosexuals. We are very love driven, we're very emotional driven, we're very like best is friendship driven, we're very like hobbies and interest driven, we're very, like, if we're with someone, we will be chatting about fun things. I think there's a very big element with asexuals where we're very much into fun, very much into, like, for example, I'm into cute cuddly things, like cuddly toys you can see all over my bed, Disney, Pixar stuff, Frozen, unicorns, Eeyores. I'm really into young, fun teenager stuff, and I think that's probably quite a interesting trait of asexuals. I think a lot of asexuals are into more young, fun kids type of stuff. Like, a lot of asexuals are into gaming, for example, and watching movies, and just chilling out. So, whereas I think heterosexuals have this more adult sex side to them that's kind of like, ugh. But yeah, so if you're sex repulsed, that is. But yeah, so be careful with dating, be cautious. There's nothing wrong with being cautious. It's very good. Protect yourself, protect your heart, protect your energy. Know that if you do date heterosexual guys, it could lead to absolutely nowhere. And you have to be prepared to take the rough with the smooth, not rough as in them being rough with you, as in understand that you're going to have a bit of a rocky ride if you are going to date heterosexuals, because there are going to be a lot of liars out there. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. But also there are going to be some heterosexuals that could bring different things to the table that maybe if you're in a relationship with another asexual wouldn't happen, and maybe it's a good thing. Like, for me, because I do like so much physical touching, because I'm very sensual, a heterosexual guy's more likely to do that, and a heterosexual guy's more likely to kiss me for a much more longer period of time and enjoy it, right? And so there are benefits to being with a heterosexual person if you're asexual, and obviously it's a different world, though. It's a different life. So it's kind of like weird, because now I'm dating heterosexuals. It's kind of like the heterosexual world meets the asexual world again. It's like I'm in two different time zones and two different time warps and two different whole universes. It is really bizarre like that, I have to say. So it's kind of like, this is the heterosexual world on the left, this is the asexual world on the right, creative and play. This is more formal and logical you have to be, and it's kind of like weird. It's kind of like this is a less emotional connected side, more physical side. This is like the more playtime asexual side. It's really, really weird. And it's like, I can feel the difference. It's like, oh my god, I'm being dragged back into the heterosexual world. It's weird. It's really weird for me. I prefer being in the asexual world, to be honest. I know it's meant to be the same world, and technically it is, because we're all under the same world roof, and and we all, here as one big love family, but it is very different. It's like living in two completely separate worlds. One where, they think about physical stuff and body parts, and a lot of stuff is based on physicality and, stuff like that. And then the other side, asexual side, is based on fun and love and just beautiful emotional connection and happiness and joy. I kind of see the asexual world as much more happy and joy and young and sweet and innocent and fun, whereas the heterosexual world is kind of much more adult, much more sexually driven, much more physical driven, much more kind of formal, and maybe kind of less empathetic, and maybe a bit less empathetic, and maybe like it's more like clinical, it's more like less caring, I think, in some ways. That's kind of what I pick up from relationships and dating in general. But But, you know, there's some heterosexuals that you can get really deeply emotionally connected to, but I would say they're probably more like asexuals in some ways, some of those. So, you know, I have had a soulmate connection with that one guy from the asexual, sorry, not from the asexual group, sorry, from the Facebook dating groups. I have had like a soulmate connection with a guy there, but like he's going to get married and go back to his own country, so that's no good. You know, so asexual love or love with an asexual is not really important to him. So yeah, there is that. So there are, you know, he's got an emotional connection to me, emotional attachment connection. He calls it attachment. I'd say it's both attachment and connection. But anyway, but that's the end of that. You know, it can't go anywhere. So I just have to move on from him. But yeah, so it is possible to get an emotional connection with some heterosexual guys because he is the soulmate guy. But yeah, so, you know, not all is lost. You can, but I think it's much more difficult to get emotionally connected because I think asexuals tend to share their thoughts, feelings, emotions more, which creates obviously much more instant emotional connection. That's how you can create an emotional connection, by sharing your thoughts, feelings, secrets, desires, basically your intimacy, your inner your inner world. When you share your inner world with someone, so they can see your bare soul, if you know what I mean. That's how you develop a deep emotional connection with someone. And I find heterosexuals just don't do that as much. They're more closed off. They're less open, less sharing of that type of information. This is what my personal experience is. You might have otherwise. And I don't think this is true for every heterosexual. Like I said, there is a guy who I've had a soulmate connection with who's heterosexual. So that's not true for everyone. But for me personally, to go along in life, to actually have the most amazing relationship possible, I really need a deep emotional connection with a guy. If I don't have that, it kind of feels more like clinical and mathematical and calculated and more artificial if there's no emotional connection there. And so it kind of feels like disconnect, you know, from who I am and from who they are. I like to be able to have so much like connection and deep emotional intimacy with the guy that I can feel like I can reach inside his heart and him reach inside mine and protect each other's heart, like as a really sacred thing. I love that feeling. Like there's no barriers. You just completely heart to heart, and you're treasuring that heart and you holding it dear to each other, and you'll never let it go, you know, and you're so comfortable and confident that you're right for each other, that's just bliss. And I don't know if I could get that with a heterosexual guy, to be honest. I think I'm much more likely to get that with an asexual guy. But we shall see. We shall see. I think it's interesting time in my life at the moment. I think dating heterosexuals is a big step for me again, doing that. Not one that I kind of completely foresee was going to happen. But, you know, I do want something real with someone in person who's not going to be perfect, but who might be halfway or 3/4 of the way, usually. Hopefully there, you know. So I would urge you that to do what feels good and right to you. If you're sex repulsed, asexual, you just think, I'm so disgusted by sex and I hate even the idea of being with a heterosexual, do not do this. Only going, if you're going to date heterosexuals, only go in with the attitude that, yes, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to respect the fact they're a different sexual orientation to me, different needs, but I'm still going to damn well express my needs, express my wants, express my desires, and express my specific boundaries and keep them intact at all times. Right? So we've got to be very, very aware of what we want, what we don't like, what we dislike, what we're happy to do in the potential relationship, the dating scenario, or maybe further down the line in a relationship. Remember, you have the right to change your mind at any time. You have the right to do whatever you want with your body because it's your body and no one else's. No one has the right to touch places you don't want them to touch. No one has the right to do anything to you that you don't want to have done or not happy with. Always remember that your body is definitely your own, and so is your mind and everything else, right? If you start seeing signs of controlling behavior, get the hell out of there. You know, if you start to see signs of feeling unsafe, obviously speak up and say something and then be prepared to leave, right? But you're going to have a lot of communication if you're going to date heterosexuals, because there are going to be miscommunications, misjudgments. You have to make it categorically clear. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. This is what I'm happy with. This is what I'm not happy with. You have to make that crystal clear to the person, to be fair to them and to be fair to you. But, you know, that you might want to open yourself up to heterosexuals, but just know a lot of them lie. Please know that a lot of them lie. And it's going to be hard for you to tell which ones are telling the truth and not, because they're very convincing. But there are heterosexuals that don't lie as well, that really value honesty, friendship, communication, and do value someone, you know, a lot. So always remember to be yourself and be proud of your asexuality, be confident in it, be proud of who you are, and know that it's perfectly normal for some people to not like sex. If you're a sex repulsed asexual, that's okay. And you need to get a person, heterosexual, who's understanding of that. You do not want someone who starts questioning your asexuality, who doesn't take it seriously. I mean, I was uncomfortable with this heterosexual guy asking me loads of questions about what I like in terms of sexual stuff and not like. But I was glad that he had enough respect in the sense to actually ask me what I like and don't like. So he wanted to make sure he didn't make me uncomfortable physically if he ends up seeing me and kissing me, because that would have been worse if he started doing stuff to me that I didn't want to do. So I am uncomfortable about the questions he asked me, but it would be more uncomfortable if he started doing stuff that I wasn't comfortable with in the first place. So I do think it's good that he established all that with me early on. But it was uncomfortable, some of it, because I was just like, I really don't want to be talking about this now, because it was very much too soon, really, for me, in some sense. But then I do believe it's best to get all that out of the way quickly, so you can move on from it and to establish that. Because obviously, if people want to do completely different things and there's no compatibility there, then there's no point in even carrying on, you know, seeing that person, dating them at all. So he knew by the information I gave him that there was enough things that he did like, with the kissing especially, to take things forward. So yeah, always bear this type of stuff in mind. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for now. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you and share all this information. I hope you found value in it. If you haven't, then maybe the channel's not for you, because I'd say there's so much value in it. But if you haven't actually watched the whole video yet, go back to the beginning and watch it, because it is amazing. And I do explain, you know, what it's like for an asexual to be dating a heterosexual, and I explain the differences, and I try and look at things from both points of view. You know, so I have done that. I've tried to look at it from the heterosexual point of view as well. So it's important. I want to thank you, Liam, for being here in chat. Thank you to everyone else tonight who's been here. Thanks for the thumbs up. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this video with anyone you think may benefit from it, want to hear any of the advice in it. If you've got any comments, queries, or questions, please post them down below this video, especially if you're watching it on replay. And I'll see you on the next video or live stream. Lots of love to you. Take care and see you soon. Bye. Bye. Don't forget to hit that bell icon after you've subscribed. Bye.